Did you know that some people eat snails, but could you stomach it? Ah, the humble snail. These slow-moving critters are more than just garden pests. In many parts of the world they're considered a delicacy. Picture this, a plate of escargot, each morsel swimming in a pool of butter and garlic. But before you start foraging in your backyard, let's talk about why snails might not be the best choice for dinner. For starters, not all snails are created equal. Some are downright toxic. Others, like the common garden variety, are safe to eat but require meticulous preparation to rid them of harmful parasites. There's also the ecological impact to consider. Overharvesting of wild snails can disrupt local ecosystems, leading to a ripple effect of environmental consequences. So, while they may be a tasty treat for some, snails come with their own set of challenges. So, if they're not great for eating, where do they fit in the grand scheme of life? You might think of snails as garden pests, but they're far more versatile than that. Indeed, these humble creatures can be found in a variety of environments, each influencing their size, behavior, and life cycle in unique ways. Let's start with the garden, the proverbial home of the snail. Here they slide along on their single foot, munching on plant matter with their tiny tooth-lined tongues, known as radulus. But snails aren't just garden dwellers. They're found in a range of habitats, from the damp undergrowth of forests to the arid expanses of deserts. In forests, snails find a buffet of decaying leaves and fungi. The moisture and shelter provided by the forest floor are ideal for these soft-bodied mollusks. Forest snails tend to be larger than their garden counterparts, a testament to the abundance of food and the protection from predators that these environments offer. But what about deserts, you might ask? It seems counterintuitive, but yes, snails do indeed live in deserts. These hardy creatures have adapted to survive in such harsh environments through a process called estivation, which is similar to hibernation. During the hottest and driest periods, desert snails seal themselves inside their shells with a layer of mucus, effectively creating a mini habitat that retains moisture until conditions outside improve. Even within the same environment, snails can exhibit a wide range of behaviors and traits influenced by factors such as food availability, predator threat, and climate. Some species are nocturnal, venturing out under the cover of darkness to forage and mate. Others are more active during the day, especially after a rain when the ground is damp and food is plentiful. The life cycle of snails also varies depending on their habitat. Some, like the garden snail, lay their eggs in the soil and can produce several batches per year. Others, like the desert snail, lay fewer eggs, but their offspring have a higher survival rate due to the lack of predators. Their adaptability is impressive, isn't it? But there's more to these slow movers than meets the eye. So the next time you spot a snail in your garden or on a forest hike, consider the fascinating journey it has taken to survive and thrive in its chosen habitat. Ever wondered how a tiny snail egg becomes a fully grown creature? Well, let's dive into the fascinating journey of a snail's life cycle. From the moment it's an egg, a snail's life is full of slow-paced adventure. A snail begins its life within a tiny, almost invisible egg laid in the soil. In about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the species and the environmental conditions, these eggs hatch into minuscule snails. Now you might imagine a baby snail to be just a smaller version of an adult, but that's not exactly the case. These baby snails are born without shells. Yes, you heard that right. It's only after a few days of hatching that they begin to develop a small, soft shell, which hardens and grows as they consume calcium-rich food. As the snail grows, it keeps adding more layers to its shell, resulting in a spiral pattern that's characteristic of most snails. The shell's growth is influenced by several factors, including the snail's diet, the temperature, and the humidity of its environment. A snail reaches maturity between 1 to 2 years, depending on its species. At this point, it's ready to lay eggs of its own, continuing the cycle of life. But here's an incredible fact: snails are hermaphrodites, which means they possess both male and female reproductive organs. This unique trait allows any 2 adult snails to mate and lay eggs, increasing their chances of reproduction. As for their lifespan, snails can live anywhere from 5 to 25 years, depending on their species and living conditions. Some garden snails have been known to live up to 15 years, while certain larger species can live for more than 2 decades under ideal conditions. So, they start small and grow slowly, just like their pace of life. But what about the bigger members of the snail family? Stay tuned as we delve into the world of giant snails in our next segment. Believe it or not all snails are small. Some are downright gigantic. When we think about giants in the snail world, a few exceptional species come to mind. The first is the Australian trumpet, also known as Syrinx aruanus. This marine snail holds the record as the largest living gastropod species. Adults can reach an impressive length of over 2 feet and can weigh up to 40 pounds. Imagine finding one of those in your backyard. Next on the list is the giant African land snail. These terrestrial titans are among the most sizable snails on land, growing up to 8 inches in length. They are also known for their long lifespan, living up to 10 years under ideal conditions. Native to East Africa, they have made their way to various parts of the world, often considered an invasive species due to their voracious appetites. Then we have the Achatina achatina, commonly known as the giant tigerland snail. Native to West Africa, this snail can grow up to 12 inches long and 6 inches in diameter. Its striking striped shell makes it an eye-catching addition to the snail world. These giant snails live in diverse habitats, from tropical rainforests to coral reefs, showcasing the adaptability of these amazing creatures. Their size is not only a fascinating aspect but also a key element of survival. Larger snails can store more water and endure longer periods of dry weather. Their size also deters potential predators, making them less of an easy meal. As for unique behaviors, some of these giants are known for their peculiar eating habits. For instance, the giant African land snail is known to consume over 500 different types of plants, and if plant food is scarce, it's not above munching on paint and stucco. And there you have it. From tiny garden dwellers to giants of the snail world, these creatures are far more fascinating than you might have thought. So we've journeyed from the dinner plate to the depths of the forest, all in the name of understanding snails. We've uncovered reasons why snails might not be the best menu choice. We've delved into their diverse habitats, explored their intriguing life cycle, and marveled at the existence of the colossal snail species. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? Who knew there was so much to learn about these slow, slimy creatures? Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the natural world.